Law 1, the field of play. Today we're starting right at the beginning of football's laws of the game with Law 1, the field of play. And honestly, this is a great place to begin, because before we talk about fouls, offside, penalties, or dramatic last-minute winners, we need to talk about the stage where all of that happens. Think of Law 1 as the blueprint for football's world. Because football does not just happen on some grass. It happens on a field that has shape, order, purpose, and a surprising amount of detail behind it. The pitch might look simple when you glance at it from the stand or on TV, but to a referee, every line means something. Every marking tells a story. Every area changes what players can do, what goalkeepers can touch, and what decisions officials have to make. At its core, the field must be rectangular, with the longer sides called touchlines and the shorter sides called goal lines. It can be natural grass, fully artificial if the competition allows it, or a hybrid system where permitted. If the surface is artificial, it must be green, and at certain levels it must meet FIFA quality requirements. Now that already sounds a bit official, so let's make it real. Imagine you arrive to referee a Sunday morning match. One team is warming up seriously. The other team has one player still tying his boots, and someone's uncle is holding a coffee behind the dugout. You walk the field before kickoff. That little inspection is not just tradition, it matters. Is the pitch clearly marked? Are the goals secure? Are the corner flags there? Is anything dangerous? Law 1 is already alive before the first whistle. And that's one of the lovely things about refereeing. The match begins long before the ball moves. Let's talk about the lines. The lines are not decorations, they are boundaries with legal meaning. IFAB says the field must be marked with continuous lines, and those lines are part of the areas they define. That little detail matters a lot. For example, the boundary line of the penalty area is actually part of the penalty area. So if a foul happens on the line, that is not just outside, that is inside. That one catches people out all the time. A defender clips an attacker right on the edge of the box. Half the stadium screams outside, the other half screams penalty, and the referee has to know, calmly and confidently, that the line belongs to the penalty area. So yes, if the contact is on the line, it is a penalty. That is Law 1 doing quiet but powerful work. The halfway line splits the field into two halves, the center mark sits in the middle, and the center circle has a radius of 9.15 meters or 10 yards. That circle is not there to look neat for the kickoff photo. It exists so opponents stay the correct distance away at kickoff. The same 9.15 meters appears again in other parts of the game too, which is one of those little football patterns that starts to feel satisfying once you notice it. Then we get to the dimensions of the field itself. Not every football pitch is exactly the same size. That surprises a lot of people. Under Law 1, standard matches can have a touchline length from 90 to 120 meters, which is 100 to 130 yards, and a goal line from 45 to 90 meters, 50 to 100 yards. For international matches, the range is narrower. Touchlines from 100 to 110 meters, 110 to 120 yards, and goal lines from 64 to 75 meters, 70 to 80 yards. So when someone says, a football pitch is always the same size, not quite. That is why some grounds feel tight and intense, while others feel wide and open. A bigger pitch can stretch teams, punish tired legs, and give quick wingers more room. A smaller one can make the game feel more crowded, more physical, more frantic. Same sport, same laws, slightly different canvas. Now let's walk into the most famous painted rectangle in football, the penalty area. The penalty area is marked by lines drawn 16.5 meters, 18 yards, from the inside of each goalpost and extending 16.5 meters, 18 yards into the field. Inside that area sits the penalty mark, 11 meters / 12 yards from the midpoint between the posts. Outside it sits the familiar penalty arc, drawn with a radius of 9.15 meters / 10 yards from the penalty mark. And again, these are not just measurements for groundskeepers, they shape the drama of the sport. Inside the penalty area, the goalkeeper has special privileges with the hands. Outside it, they are just another outfield player in gloves. That one painted line changes everything. A keeper can leap bravely at feet, gather crosses, smother shots, but only within that space. Drift outside with the ball in the hands, and now you have a problem. You can picture it instantly. A goalkeeper rushes out, collects the ball, but the momentum carries them forward. 1 step, 2 steps, and suddenly everyone is staring at the referee, waiting to see whether the ball crossed the line of the area. That tension exists because Law 1 drew the map first. The goal area, sometimes casually called the 6-yard box, is smaller. It is formed by lines 5.5 meters, 6 yards from the inside of each goalpost and extending the same distance into the field. This area matters particularly for goal kicks, attacking pressure near goal, and general positioning around the goal mouth. It is one of those zones players may not think about consciously every second, but it constantly influences how they move and where restarts happen. Then we reach the corners. Each corner area is a quarter circle with a radius of 1 meter or 1 yard marked inside the field, and each corner must have a flag post at least 1.5 meters, 5 foot high, with a non-pointed top. Optional flag posts can also be placed on each end of the halfway line, at least 1 meter outside the touchline. That all sounds very tidy until you remember what corner kicks are actually like, because in theory the corner area is geometry, and in reality it is chaos. One player carefully places the ball. Another tries to block the short option. 3 attackers are wrestling for position. 2 defenders are pretending not to hold shirts while definitely holding shirts. And somewhere in the middle of it all, the referee is thinking, please, everyone just behave for 5 seconds. Again, Law 1 gave us the stage. The madness is supplied by human beings. And then there's the technical area, football's version of a pressure cooker with seats. On paper, it sounds simple enough. It is the marked space beside the pitch for team officials, substitutes, and substituted players. It sits around the bench or dugout, usually stretching a meter either side and a meter out toward the touchline. But in real life, it is where emotion lives. This is where the manager paces, where the assistant throws their arms up over a missed chance, where substitutes bounce on their toes waiting to come on, where a physio suddenly becomes the fastest runner in the stadium when someone goes down holding a hamstring. Law 1 gives that chaos a boundary. It says, in effect, yes, you can coach, react, organize, and live every kick from the sideline, but you must do it from here. You cannot have 5 people roaming the touchline like they own the place. You cannot turn the side of the pitch into a second match. Only one person at a time is allowed to step up and give tactical instructions, and everyone in the technical area is expected to behave responsibly. And that matters more than people think. Because the technical area is not just about tidiness, it is about control. It protects match officials, keeps the touchline clear, reduces confrontation, and makes sure the game stays on the field rather than spilling into the bench area. A calm technical area can help a match feel organized. A badly managed one can make everything feel tense. So even here, Law 1 is doing what it always does, drawing lines, creating order, and giving football a structure strong enough to hold all the emotion that comes with it. Now let's talk about the goals themselves, because even there, Law 1 is precise. A goal sits in the center of each goal line. The distance between the inside of the post must be 7.32 meters, 8 yards, and the distance from the lower edge of the crossbar to the ground must be 2.44 meters, 8 foot. The posts and crossbar must be approved, not dangerous, white, and no more than 12 centimeters, 5 inches, wide or deep. Crucially, goals, including portable goals, must be firmly secured to the ground. That safety point is not a small one. Before a match, one of the most important practical checks a referee does is making sure the goals are safe and stable. Fans may never notice it, players may never think about it, but it matters hugely. A match should never begin with a dangerous goal frame. Here is a real-world style example. You arrive, give the goal a shake, and it wobbles like a shopping trolley with one bad wheel. That is not good enough. That is a problem to be fixed before the match starts. Law 1 is not only about neat white paint, it is about safety too. And here's another scenario straight from the spirit of the law. If the crossbar breaks or becomes displaced during the match, play is stopped until it is repaired or replaced. If that cannot happen, the match must be abandoned. It cannot simply be improvised with something flexible or unsafe, which makes perfect sense when you think about it. Football is chaotic enough without a half-attached crossbar joining the game. Law 1 also reaches beyond the white lines into the modern era with goal line technology, or GLT, and VAR infrastructure, where competitions use them. GLT is only for deciding whether a goal has been scored, and if it is used, it must confirm the decision immediately and automatically to the match officials. In matches with VAR, there must be a video operation room and at least one referee review area. That is a nice reminder that Law 1 is not stuck in the past. It still begins with grass, lines, flags, and posts, but it also has room for watches that vibrate and review areas marked beside the pitch. So what is the deeper lesson of Law 1? It is this. Football needs structure before it can have freedom. Players create the flair, coaches create the tactics, supporters create the atmosphere, but the field creates the order. Without clear boundaries, there is no offside line to judge from, no penalty area to interpret, no corner arc for the restart, no goal frame to score in, no technical area to manage, no proper stage for the game to unfold. Law 1 is quiet, but it is foundational. It is the architecture of football. And maybe that is why it deserves more appreciation than it usually gets. Because when Law 1 is done properly, nobody talks about it. Nobody says, what lovely continuous markings today. Nobody applauds the exact width of the goal line. Nobody goes home saying, that 10-yard radius around the center mark really made the occasion. But when something is wrong, a missing flag, unsafe goal, faint penalty line, badly marked field, suddenly Law 1 becomes the most important thing in the world. That is often how good officiating works too. The best work is the work nobody notices. So next time you watch a match or referee one, take a moment before kickoff and look at the field properly. The rectangle, the lines, the box, the arc, the flags, the goals, the bench area, all of it. Because before football becomes emotion, controversy, beauty, and noise, it begins with a rectangle and a set of carefully drawn rules. And that is Law 1.